Again, good morning, all of you. Last time we have discussed the lots of important things as far as Android programming subject is concerned. It is very much important subject for your entire MCA journey. Actually, this is basically a very important points that we already discussed some of the point which may be helpful to you to mold your career if you want in a Android programming. So up till now, we have discussed last the commonly used package that we are using for Android programming. And by using that particular packages, we directly use methods, class, and other properties that you want to use. And you can reuse. You can say that it's a reuse. Already programming is done. Only you need to use the properties by using the importing the packages. That already we have discussed in last lecture. Now we are going to start with the Android application framework. How Android application framework works. This thing already we have discussed in the figure or diagram that already we have discussed for Android application framework architecture. You can see basically in the root we have discussed Android 2.6 Linux kernel is there. If I rewind the figure so that you can understand more, you can see here Linux 2.6 kernel is there on a base of Android. That's why Android itself become a open source, and even Java programming language we are using for programming, that is also open source. That's why it's purely open source programming language, that is a Android operating system. And the Dalvik virtual machine last time we have discussed. This is a very much useful mechanism, same as a Java virtual machine that we have discussed in core Java. Basically, the Dalvik virtual machine is used to convert your Android enabled file, that is APK file, into the machine code and machine code to APK. That means it provides the communication between your system and your application. So this is what about the Android framework. Now we'll see in detail how Android framework will use and how we can manage it. So the Android application framework provides everything necessary to important your average application. Okay. If you want to create one simple average application that do not have much more facility, only a simple facility is there, that if you want to create this such kinds of average application, the Android application lifecycle, Android application lifecycle, we have seen lots of lifecycle. Here also we are seeing the Android application lifecycle involves the following key components. Okay. Android application lifecycle involve which component that we are going to see here. First, very important, that is activities are functions the application perform. Okay. Here already we have discussed in our introduction of syllabus that there are four basic components of Android systems are there. First is Android activity, second is context, third is service, and four is intent. These four things we have discussed at the time of introduction of our syllabus actually. So here in an Android application framework, the first task, that is activities, is nothing but the functions the application perform. How your application will perform the task, that all things would be defined into the activities. Okay, at the time also we have discussed that At that time also we have discussed that activities is nothing but the page that you have visible on your Android mobile screen. Whatever the things that you have seen on your screen, your application screen, or a page that you are seeing on your mobile devices, that is nothing but the activities. Okay, and group of activities comes into the picture, make one application. Okay, if we are talking about the website, there are lots of web pages are available which can run on server, like index.jsp or any other .jsp. So these all are the web page or index.html or .html. Same as here, if you are working on a mobile application as far as the Android is concerned, so whatever the first screen that you visible on your screen after opening the application, after starting the application, that is called activity or a page that you are display on a screen. If you want to create the programming of Android, first of all, it is required to create activity first. Activity is nothing but the mobile screen or a one page that you display on your mobile. So this is very much important. That is activity, and activity performs by the name suggests activity means some task. So each and every page and each and every screen on an Android mobile screen or application will perform a particular task that is being allotted by the developer or a programmer. So this is very much useful. Activities are functions the application performs. Whatever the task of application that we have defined is being implemented by the activity. So activity is a very much important as far as our Android application is concerned. So this is what about the activities are function the application perform. What actually your application is performing is basically defined by this particular activity. Okay, I understand. So this is very much important. This was first life cycle phase of key component, that is the activity. And activity, if someone asks in the question what is activity, so activity is nothing but the mobile screen or a mobile page which have a particular task to be implemented or particular function to be implemented, specifically designed for the application performance. So this is what about the activities. Second, group of views define applications layout. Group of views defines application layout. That means what? If you want to display your content on your screen or on your activity, that means each and certain components, or you can say certain widget component, WIDGT. Last time we have discussed. Here we are defining control, Android control as an Android widget like button, text field, edit text. Okay, all these things, checkbox, radio button. This all comes under the category of Android widget control. So group of views, how a particular application screen with views means how it look like, how it shows that particular screen as a layout. So there are lots of layouts and views are there. Based on that particular views, we are arranging our component in such a way that our application can be look like a very attractive and user friendly. User easily understand what the particular control says to input. Okay, so based on that, we are going to create an attractive layout so that and no one can have the doubt to how to input and what is the value to be entered in this particular application. So it's a very simple manner define any kinds of user, those who are not habitual to the computer operating system or any other application operating, those who have not a background of IT field can also easily understand how to input in such a way. So this is what about the particular views and layouts that we define actually. So this is also very much important as far as Android layout is concerned. There are basically four kinds of layouts are there. First is by default relative layouts is there, linear layout is there, and absolute layout is there, and frame layout is there. Okay, so we'll see this all these thing in detail once we start with the geographical, sorry,
So first
graphical,
बोले तुमने
sorry,
फर्स्ट लेआउट बोले.
relative layout.
ओके.
Okay, so group of views define the applications layout. This is what the second component of our Android life cycle, application life cycle. Now third is intent. Third is intent. Intents inform the system about the application's plan. Okay, also that already we have discussed in our introduction section of our syllabus, that is intent. Intent is nothing but the message passing communication or action performing communication between various activities which is run into a particular application. Okay, so activities, as I told, activities are what the function that can be performed by the specifically task allotted to particular activity. An application can have a multiple activity. Okay, there is no any application you can see that require only one activity. Okay, if you have application, then there are lots of activities, means lots of pages or lots of screens layouts are available. Okay, so how to communicate these various activities in between, how we can communicate the message passing mechanism into activities, that all things require by using the intent facility. Okay, so this is what about the intent mechanism. So intent inform the system about the application's plan. Okay, which are the activities are there? If you suppose, as for example, if you want to create a login application, that means it requires username, password, and one button, that is a login. Okay, so you are entering username, password, and login. Then after this is one activity. One activity consists of two edit text and one button. Okay, username, password, and one button, that is a login or a sign in, whatever it is. Okay, now you are giving username and password and you are pressing the sign in or a login button. That means what? After pressing the login or a sign in button, your activity would be redirect to other activity, means your page screen would be redirect to other screen. Okay, like this, means this is the one activity of login page. Now the welcome page is other activity. Okay, so what exactly we want to do is we want to print the username into next activity. This is our task. If you want to print the name of the user in other activity, means the next activity that we are want to display the username. Okay, so by using the fundamental of intent, by using the fundamental of intent mechanism, we are doing this. We can also message communication, or we can also a particular action communication also would be done by using intent mechanism. uh, Also calling and message passing mechanism also done by the intent. Okay, so it's an action. If you want to call a particular number, that is one action is there. Okay, so at that time also we are going to use the intent fundamental, that we'll see later on when once we started in detail. Then the four important mechanism is service. Okay, service is nothing but the background process. Mind well, service is nothing but the background process that allows user for interaction. It will process without the user interface. Okay, that means it doesn't require any human communication. It doesn't require that this particular button will be pressed and then activity would be started. That doesn't require. It is depends on the time, it is depends on the timer, it is depends on the particular background process mechanism. Okay, that particular things doesn't require the user interaction. The particular things and particular services will start automatically without user interference or without user interaction. The example of this background process is, can you say anything? Can anybody give the example of background process? Anyone? Example of services that allow for background processing without user interaction.
આપણે મેસેજ સેન્ડ કરીએ છીએ ને એ વખત જસ્ટ ખાલી આપણે તો બટન પર ક્લિક જ કરીએ છીએ, પણ એના પાછળની શું પ્રોસેસ થાય એ આપણને નહીં ખબર હોય.
બટન ઉપર ક્લિક તો કરીએ છીએ without clicking on button. Anyone else? No one? Okay. The best example of background process is nothing but your downloading mechanism. If you want to download something, then you just press on the download button and then automatically download process is going on. Second example, the music player. If you want to play the certain kinds of music or a song, then you just start the application of music, automatically song will be played. Even you can minimize it and you can do the other task also. Yes or no?
Yes.
Are you agree
Yes.
with me
Yes,
or
sir.
not? You have already done this thing, all this thing, but you have not remembered. Okay,
Agree.
agree. Okay, so background processing, this is called as a background processing. Second example is nothing but the scanning of virus. If you have installed any application of antivirus applications, then it is automatically run on a background that doesn't require the user interaction. One virus will come, it will notify you. This is also one part of background process. Okay, so this is what about the service. Okay, this is what the service that doesn't require the user or interaction or a user involvement. It will run automatically based on the particular task given to particular services. Okay, and last is notifications. Can you please tell me what is notification? Have you knowledge about the notifications? Have you ever feel any notification that you receive in your mobile?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what is notification? And give the example of notification.
જ્યારે WhatsApp
મેસેજીસ આવે ત્યારે નોટિફિકેશન આવે.
Yes, then other thing.
મેઇલ આવે તો નોટિફિકેશન આવે.
Okay, very good. Then
રિમાઇન્ડર મૂક્યું હોય, અલાર્મ મૂક્યું હોય તો બી નોટિફિકેશન આવે.
yes, very good. Then
ફોનમાં બધું નોટિફિકેશન થ્રુ જ હોય, એ લોકો આપણને નોટિફિકેશન જ મોકલે ને.
very good. Okay, so if you are using some social media like WhatsApp and Facebook, and some message will display or some message would be received by you on your account, then also on the top notification will come one message received like this. Okay, and if you have the email already, you have told if you want to have any new email in your inbox, also notification is there. And if you are using the any social media like LinkedIn or Twitter or a Facebook, then someone posted a new post, then also you have got the notification that your friend have put these such kinds of activities on a social media. So this is all comes under the category of notification, or you can say alert. It's nothing but the alert that will identify you, that is introduce you, or that is informing you that something interesting happened. Okay, so notifications are nothing but the alert the user when something interesting happen. If something happen, then it will notify you. That is what the notification means. Okay, so I think I hope all you understand regarding the Android application framework. Basically it is a 5 kinds of life cycle involves the following. First of all, it is a activity. Second, it is a layout or view. Third, intent. Fourth, service. And fifth, notification that you receive from your mobile. Clear? Now, the very important things that we are going to start: configuring your development environment. Configuring your development environment. There are some certain tasks is there, and which is very important to understand. Actually, it's a old mechanism before 1 to 3 year. Right now there are lots of new things comes into the picture with the collaboration of all these things that we are studying today, but this is a very basic thing. Okay, This is the basic things that we require to understand first, so that if we switch over the latest things, that can be easily grasped by the developer which are new developing this. You all are the new in Android, okay? That's why we'll just go to the root of the Android, so that you can understand if something new happened before this was there, okay? So the intention of configuring your development environment is to familiar your laptop, familiar your PC, to make Android program easily on your PC or laptop. If you want to develop any Android application, first of all, you need to set the development environment in your laptop or in your PC. Then and then only you start the programming of Android. Okay. So which are the things that comes into our mind, and that we will very much care about this, and we need to install certain things that we'll discuss in today's lecture. Okay. So to develop Android applications, you need to have following software installed on your computer or laptop. First of all, what is this? The Java Development Kit, that is JDK. नाम तो सुना ही होगा, right? JDK. All you knows regarding JDK. That's why at the time of introduction, I have told to you that the prerequisite of this subject is nothing but the core Java knowledge is required if you want to perform the Android programming. So it is totally based on Java. It is totally based on Java. All the syntax and all these methods and all these mechanism of programming are same as Java, because we are using Java itself. So if you want to do the programming of Android, the base programming language is required for installing the JDK first. Minimum version 5 or 6. Okay, whatever the latest version, that doesn't make any sense, but minimum version require 5 or 6. Available for download at this particular website, sun.com Java SE download index.jsp. Okay. So this is the first requirement. Then if someone asks that what is the prerequisite to start our Android application in our PC or a laptop, so these are the first requirement. That is a Java Development Kit, which we are habitual to known as a JDK. Okay. Second, a compatible IDE as Eclipse along with JDT, Java Development Toolkit, available for download in this officially website from Eclipse is there. That is a www.eclipse.org download. If you want to download the latest version of IDE of Eclipse, this is the website link. You can download this particular editor. It is nothing but the IDE, Integrated Development Environment. We have already discussed this thing at the time of introduction. Okay, a compatible Java IDE such as Eclipse along with its JDT plugin, Java Development Toolkit plugin. Okay, so it is along with this JDT plugin installed with Eclipse, then and then only we are able to run our, or we are able to develop the Android program, and it is freely available on eclipse.org download link. Okay, so second is editor that we are going to use, Eclipse. ECLIPSE. Eclipse is nothing but the editor of Java that will provide the platform to create project of Android, to create new file associated with Java, to create new class associated with Java, to create any file that you require to support your Android applications. That is what we are discussing over here. Second thing of Eclipse editor is nothing but to create a program of Android application, to save the program, to edit the program, to compile the program, and to run the program. All these things would be done by the Java IDE such as Eclipse. Okay. So this is what about the second thing. Third thing that is very, very much important. Without this, we cannot do anything. That is what? Android SDK, Software Development Kit. Software Development Kit. Android SDK. Android SDK is nothing but the core libraries, classes, APIs available starting from A, B, C to Android 10. That is called as Android SDK version. Tools and documentation. Which are the various tools are available for installing the SDK? Latest version Android 10 is there. Okay. So this is what about the Android SDK tools and documentation. Documentation is basically a guideline that can help you for the theoretical identification and theoretical representation of particular SDK that is being newly introduced. It is in a written mode, that how to use it, how to use it, that all things defined in the documentation. So if you have a new version comes into the market, then if you want to how to use this particular new version, then you need to just check out the documentation portion of that particular Android version SDK. Then in detail by video and example, all these things would be there in a official website of developer.android.com. Okay, you can see this is the official website of developer.android.com. Already we have discussed this particular website at the time of introduction, index.html. Okay, once you navigate this site, then all these documentation tools and Android SDK version list out would be there. Whatever the new version or old version, if you want to install in your PC or a laptop, it is freely available easily with Windows platform or with Linux platform. Okay, both the platforms are available with your this particular URL, that is a developer.android.com. Okay, so this is what about the Android SDK that we are going to discuss. So first of all, you require the JDK. Second, you require the Android editor, that is Eclipse, to do the programming in Android. And third, a particular version of Android. By using the particular version of Android, we are going to develop the program by Android Fundamental, Android Framework, that is Android SDK, that is a various version. Then Android Development Tools, ADT. Okay, here there are lots of short forms are available. Okay, you can understand the mechanism of all these short form. ADT, Android Development Tools. Now, Android Development Tools is nothing but the plugins for Eclipse to do the programming in Android. By the name suggests, Android Development Tool. If you want to develop the tool in Android programming, then you require a particular plugin which is associated or installed with the help of Eclipse, that is called the ADT. If you have installed the Eclipse and if you do not have the ADT, then you are not able to do the programming in Android. If you want to perform the programming in Android, you must require what? A particular ADT with Eclipse editor. Okay, so available for Android through the Eclipse software update mechanism. For instruction or how to install this plugin, see the website, that is already we have discussed, developer.android.com, SDK, Eclipse, EDT, HTML, although this tool is optional. This is what? Optional. For development, we highly recommend it and will use it features frequently throughout this book. Okay, so this is what about the various tools that we need to install if you want to perform the Android programming. First is what? JDK. Second is what? IDE, that is Eclipse. Second is Android SDK, and fourth is Android Development Toolkit, that is a ADT. Now I want to tell something interesting in this. Before 2 to 5 years, these all things, these all tools we need to download separately. We have to download Java separately, we have to download the Eclipse separately, we have to download the Android SDK plugin separately, and we have separately download the ADT. But now what happened nowadays, a particular package is already being posted or uploaded by the developer.android.com for the easily accessible platform for the developer of Android by the Android official developer.com site. All these tools are available in a one package that is called Eclipse. One rar file is there, which have you just need to extract it, and you will have the Android folder. Then all the Eclipse setting, edits are already there, SQLite is already there. All these things newly updated files if you have, then all these things by default comes into the one package itself. Earlier what happened, you need to download these all things separately and you need to bind it with Eclipse. You need to install the separate plugin with the help of the Eclipse. Okay, but right now the scenario is totally being changed. You require only one rar file is there, you just extract it and you can put in any drive, and you can start the Eclipse editor and do the programming and have the fun. Okay, so this is very much big exercise will done by the developer.android.com website. And in right now the particular Android Studio also comes into the market. Okay, Android Studio is there. It's a very heavy loaded particular framework is there that require minimum 3 to 4 MB of RAM in your PC or a laptop, and a minimum amount of storage space also would be there in your PC or a laptop. Then and then only we are supposed to use and install this Android Studio is there. Okay, but we are considering this the particular maybe not possible to this such kinds of heavily RAM available at your home or anywhere. So we are using this package only. We are using this old package only that required to use it, and anywhere you can install, whether it is your laptop or you can PC. If you have a less amount of RAM also it will work. But if you are using the Android Studio that require the much more memory or a RAM to smoothly functioning, it will install, but it require the speed. Okay, if you are installed in a less amount of memory, then your PC or laptop will be hang and process would be very much slow. Okay, so at the initial level, if you want to become the, if you want to know the programming, if you want to learn the programming, if you want to initial stage developer, at that time you can use this particular package that we are going to use it. Okay, also in our lab we have also installed these packages, so don't worry, we will also provide the link to that particular package, or we'll put the things into your Google Drive also, you can download it later on. Okay, so this is what about the Android application life cycle mechanism, and how to we can install, and which are the basic terms that we require to install if you want to make your programming in Android machine. Okay, so I just repeat first, configuring your application development environment as far as the Android application development mechanism is concerned. First of all, you require the JDK, already you know. Second, IDE Eclipse. Okay, then Android SDK, which version of Android you are using, that is what Android SDK. And third is Android Development Toolkit. Android Development Toolkit, that is a tools or toolkit, that all things same. Okay, editing. So I think all you have understand up to this. Have you any query? Have you any doubt? Any question? Then ask me. Then we'll continue the session. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now we'll switch ahead to this particular.
No,
Okay. Configuring your. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Tell me. Someone has speak something. I cannot listen properly. If you have any query, any question. Okay, so we are going to start the configuring your operating system for device debugging. Okay, this mechanism is also very much useful. Debugging, all you know is the debugging. Debugging is nothing but what? Step by step checking the execution of our application, whether it is smoothly working or not. As per our logic, as per our requirement, as per our step, the particular programming is or particular line of code is executing in such a way or not, that we are going to check it actually by using this such kinds of mechanism. If you are using this and if you are maintaining your programming, if you are maintaining your logic with this aim, we are developing this such kinds of things would be there. Okay, so configuring your operating system for device debugging. It is basically, we have the word device. Device is nothing but your mobile. Okay, if you have run your program, if you have make your program, and if you want to check it out whether it is smoothly running or not, so there are two options are there. You can debug your program by using your mobile devices which you have installed your application, that is apk file is there. We'll see later on what is apk is there. All you know, I think apk is a configuration file or installing file which we can install in our device or a mobile. So this is the first option. First you need to install your application in your device and connect it with usb cable and start the debugging whether your application is smoothly working or not, and check for the functionality. This is the first option. Second option, you need to use the IDE, integrated development environment,
સર તમારો અવાજ કપાય છે.
that is called Eclipse. Okay, second option, you need to.
સર અવાજ કપાય
Now
છે
it is
તમારો
okay.
અવાજ બોલો એટલે.
Am I audible?
હા હવે કમ્પ્લીટ.
Okay. Now everyone have listening me properly or not? If you have any doubt, then tell me. Then we can resolve the problem. Without Twinkle, accept Dimple. Twinkle have sound issues. Do you have any other issue regarding to sound or a volume or a voice? Okay. Okay.
No
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
No
Thank you.
sir.
Now
No
configuring
sir.
your operating system for device debugging. As I told earlier, that there are two options to debug your Android program. As I told, first by using your mobile, and second by using your editor, that is IDE. Okay, so we'll see in this thing later on clearly. So Android devices have debugging disabled by default. Okay, by default Android device have debugging disabled. If you want to perform the debugging by using your devices, then you need to put it as a disable to able mode. Disable to able mode. Okay, so your Android device must be enabled for debugging via a USB connection in order to develop application and run them on the device. So this is what about the first option, as you are told. If it is by default disabled, then first you need to enable this particular debugging option via USB connection. You just need to connect your phone by using USB cable, and one portion would be there in your CPU. So your phone would be connected, and after connection of this, you start the debugging and start your application. Whatever the application that you have installed in your mobile, you can smoothly check it out whether it is working properly or not. If it is not there, then you will provide some error on the screen, then you can able to solve it. So first you need to enable your device to install Android application other than those from the Android market. Okay, you need to install that particular application based on the Android market. Market means android Android market means, can anyone tell me what is Android market? Android market means what? Okay, Android market is nothing but your Google Play Store, where there are lots of applications are freely available. Have you ever installed any application from Google Play Store? Anyone? Surely, lots of application you have installed. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
Android market is nothing but the Google Play Store, where there are lots of applications are available and that we can install freely as per your requirement. Okay. So this setting is reached by selecting home, menu, setting and application in your phone. Suppose you have a phone, then if you want to do the enable the Android application on a debugging mode by a USB connection, then you need to go to home, then menu, then setting, then application. Then once you go to there are three options you can available, you can see. Here you should check enable the option called unknown sources. More important development setting are available on the Android device by selecting home, menu, setting, application and development. See figure 2.2. Here you should enable the following option. Okay, so you can see there are three options would be there. If you are if you are going to the setting and then home, menu, setting and application, then there are three options would be available. Yes, USB debugging, stay awake and allow mock location. Okay, and the screen would be look like this such kinds of screen would be there. If you go on development, then USB debugging, stay awake and allow location. You need to click all these things, then and then only you are able to do the USB debugging. Okay, so this is this thing. Now we'll see USB debugging option first. This setting enable you to debug your application via USB connection. Okay, if you want to enable your mobile phone to via USB cable debugging, then you need to use first option USB debugging. You need to connect your USB cable with your phone to your PC, and then after in setting you go into setting, then development mode and check box click that is USB debugging right. Okay, you just check the USB debugging option right. Okay, then you will have the ability to use the facility for USB debugging, which is connected to your actual mobile devices with your phone. Second option, stay awake. This is convenient setting keeps the phone from sleeping in the middle of your development work as long as device is plugging. Okay, stay awake. That means what? Uh, Particular idle. If your mobile is being idle, then it not will come to the sleeping mode with the middle of your development work as long as you plug in. Okay, so that is what the stay awake. And third is allow mock location. Allow mock location. Location is nothing but the what your latitude and longitude, akshans and rekhans in Gujarati. Okay, which shows your current location where you are by using the global positioning system, that is GPS. By using this, you can use it GPS. So this setting enables you to send mock location information to the phone for development purpose, and it is very convenient for applications using location based services, that is called LBS. Okay, so this is what about the screen that already we have discussed. There are three options are there. If you are want to debug, then USB debugging you need to check. Then if you can stay awake, then allow mock locations. So these three options are there. As per your requirement, you can check all these options. Okay. Then exploring the Android SDK. This is also a very important mechanism and very important chapter. Okay, so there are lots of things are there in Android SDK. Android SDK is nothing but the Android version that we'll see in detail. Okay, so we'll put this thing up till now, and we'll start this exploring the Android SDK in the very next lecture. Okay, so we'll stop here our discussion, and we'll take the attendance and we'll allow the next lecturer to start the next lecture. Okay, so exploring the Android SDK will start later on. Okay, because it's a big point is there. It require almost 1 to 2 hours to finish this particular chapter, because it's a very important. That's why we'll keep it in a next lecture. Okay, so I request all the students, don't leave until your attendance is taken. Okay, so before that, I just want to confirm from your side, is there any question? If you have any question, then we will have the question answer session, and then we'll take the attendance. If you have any questions, then tell me or ask me. Will give you the solution for your query. Is there any question?
No, sir.
Okay. So thank you very much for attending this lecture. We'll see you on next lecture on Monday. Okay. Tomorrow we do not have any lecture. Directly we'll meet on a Monday sharp 10 o'clock, or you just give me the proper time, 10 or 10:15 or 10:30, so that our time would not be wasted. Okay. We'll communicate by using the our WhatsApp group mechanism, so that all will be informed on the same time when we will meet it. Okay. So thank you very much to all of you, and we'll meet on a Monday sharp at 10 o'clock for our next lecture. Okay, thank you. Now